So with the conclusion of Super Bowl 57, your new Super Bowl champions are the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm going to go out on a limb on this. In my opinion, this may be the greatest Super Bowl of the last 10 years. Yeah, dating back to 2013, maybe 2012. This might be the best Super Bowl of the last decade. Dating back from 2013, when Seattle Seahawks actually stomped and embarrassed Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. And in that Super Bowl, that might be one of the biggest blowouts in Super Bowl history, especially in the modern era. Then you got one of the most boring Super Bowls of the modern era. In the recent memory of the Super Bowl era is the Los Angeles Rams versus the New England Patriots with a 13-3 victory for the New England Patriots. But in the last 10 years, also, we had some pretty good games, especially last year, Super Bowl 56 game, LA Rams and Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. That was actually a pretty decent game. Then you had the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was a pretty good game, Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes. But with this Super Bowl, these two teams are very unique. One of the most high-powered offenses, maybe in Super Bowl history. And you look at the roster throughout these two teams, you had star-studded players of the present and also the future of the NFL. Especially Patrick Mahomes. You look at the last 5 years, he went to a couple of Super Bowls, and he also went to the AFC Championship consistently. Never missed the playoffs ever since he was a starter of the Kansas City Chiefs. But also you got Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts actually is the future of the NFL. He showed much improvement than last year. Actually, a snoring season, a snorer. He improved greatly and actually carried his team to lots of victories and show he is the centerpiece of the Philadelphia Eagles of the 2022 season. But both teams had great defenses and actually great offensive lines. And you have more star players like Travis Kelce and his brother Jason. We had A.J. Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. We had Kadarius Toney. This Super Bowl was most unique because those players of the future and the present all competing in the same big stage. That makes it a great Super Bowl of the last 10 years. But not only the players make this game the last 10 years the best Super Bowl, it was also the records that were broken. What I mean by records that are broken, Kadarius Toney that got traded from the Giants to the Chiefs was a big part of the Chiefs' comeback behind victory with a 65-yard punt return that sets up with a go-ahead touchdown. And you had Jalen Hurts with 3 running touchdowns, nobody in the history of the Super Bowl. And this game actually had everything. It was back and forth and a big come behind win. One of the most dramatic finishes of the Super Bowl modern era as well. But one of the shortest comebacks. It wasn't that bad. It was only down by 10 points, but one of the most dramatic comebacks in Super Bowl history. Also, you look at the yardage. We had over 700 yards combined, and nearly almost 150 plays had been played. And almost every time each team had the ball, they scored. They had the opportunity to score. Each team only had 2 punts throughout the whole game. They scored when they can, but also what cost the Eagles their second Super Bowl victory, well, it was actually a late turnover turned into a defensive touchdown, and their special teams has been the thorn in their side throughout the whole year. And Kansas City never gives up, even though they were in trouble multiple times throughout the year. They figure out a way to win. And also Philadelphia had a bunch of penalties, but we're not going to get into the penalty that led them to this Super Bowl victory, probably. That a lot of people theorizing that the Revs are in cahoots with the NFL, but we're not going to get into that. That's nothing important. But the Chiefs won it because they persevered, and the Eagles gave it up. But all in all, I won't go out on the limb and say it again. This is the best Super Bowl of the last 10 years. With the hype it was built around it, how strong the teams were throughout the year, how dominant they were throughout the year, how they manhandled certain opponents, or in the Chiefs' case, they bounced back and also showed strength through their offense and defense at times. And the Eagles, with their flashiness of their offense and their strength of their defense and their great offensive line, and the hype around the players, the star players actually made a difference and came out in the Super Bowl. With that being said, it had all the ingredients to make the best Super Bowl in the last 10 years, in the last decade But tell me what you think of Super Bowl 57 in the comments down below. Tell me what you think about it and who stood out to you, the best player of the Super Bowl 57, and what's your favorite play of 57. Tell me what you think about the referees. But share with your friends, comment, subscribe to the channel, and also put a like at the end of this video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.